Hi, MorganDragonMoon.
Hello, Kat.
How you going?
I'm doing all right. I had a really good time yesterday of being outside.
Oh, that's good. Oh, good.
Yeah, we did stuff together with the family for the 4th of July, and we went all the
Oh,
way up to the Tasca State Park, which was really fun.
yeah. 4th of July, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
We don't really celebrate it like you do here in Australia.
yeah.
Right, I'm going to get this shared out.
Okay.
Got to get my phone, actually. I will be back.
Okay. So how's it going, everybody? Hope you're all having a very good weekend, just like I had. Just shuffling this card to get them ready. But yeah, it was very hot yesterday.
It was hot.
Very hot yesterday, yeah. And then it rained a lot too, a couple times.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Sun shower?
Well, it wasn't really a sun shower, but
No?
when we got to the town that we're gonna go to after the park, then it just like downpoured like really bad.
Oh, damn. Oh, gee. And it was
Yeah,
really hot.
it was hot. It was a fun day yesterday. I actually got to do what I've been wanting to do for the whole entire summer, and that was to go swimming finally. So I was really happy about that because I just feel really close to the element of water, even though I'm actually an earth sign. So, what was I going to write? Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. If you'd like a reading today, I'm doing it for 1997. You just click on the PayPal link above, and not only you'll get a reading from me, but you also get a reading from Kat after the show is over as well. But have any of you seen the new branch of the military's flag, the Space Force flag? It's like the only flag in the whole entire United States military out of all the branches that's black. Well, it makes a lot of sense too because it's a space branch of the military, and I kind of thought that there was going to eventually be a space branch of the military because of all the stuff I've been reading about the secret space program and stuff like that. So then when I heard that they announced that they were going to make a space branch of the military, I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm really actually happy about that because I have a feeling eventually they're going to disclose the fact that they already have different types of spacecraft already made and designs that date all the way back to 1930s era. Yeah. Looked up any of the stuff about the secret space programs and stuff. During that time period, I think it was the Vril Society that was working on stuff like that, and then the Thule Society was also doing stuff like that as well. Those are secret society groups in Germany at that time. And I just got something here I needed to write down. Yeah, and then there was a person in the UK that hacked into a military computer in the United States, and he ended up finding a list of spacecraft, or a list of names for ships, and he cross-referenced them with actual ship names in the U.S. Navy, and none of the names actually existed. So the United States was trying to extradite him back over here for charges of, espionage charges, but they couldn't extradite him here. Hello, how are you doing today? So, in a sense, when they were trying to get him extradited over here, in my opinion, that was kind of them accidentally admitting, oh crap, this is actually real information he actually hacked. And then there's also reports about a secret moon base. I'll turn off my monitor, it's kind of a little bright. A secret moon base, and then there's also a secret base on Mars as well. And then they said something about time travel, where they take people from a certain age, have them in the secret space program for so many years, and then after they're done, they're like de-aged back to the time when they were taken, and then they're brought back to the past, and then they're kind of, their memory of all the stuff that they did is kind of erased or hidden, but then there is stuff that can trigger their memory back. So like a guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he had a polygraph test done, and the guy said, I concluded with his polygraph test that he's telling the truth, or he believes he's telling the truth. So, but then again, a polygraph test is not that hard to fake anyways. I mean, there's been a lot of people in spy agencies that have been trained to lie against the polygraph test. It's more or less just measuring like impulses in your body that if you're able to control, you're able to pass the test easily. Well, passes, and like they'll tell you that if not, you're lying. I mean, not lying, sorry, that you're telling the truth. So that's what I meant by passing. We'll drink here. But, hello. Welcome to the show. I'm doing readings for 1997 today. If you click the PayPal link above, I'll do a reading for you. I can either do it in chat, or you can come in the room and talk as well. And not only that, you get a reading from me, but you also get a one from Kat after the show's done too. But I'll be here talking about whatever I feel like I need to talk about. My video game's playing in the background. I forgot to shut it off. Oh well. Getting a lot of stuff with Greek mythology lately. Just been very connected to it again. Keep having dreams about ancient Greece and the water a lot. Hence my connection with the water lately. I've been dying to go to a body of water and actually go swimming lately, and I actually did yesterday, thank goodness. I went to Lake Bemidji and finally went swimming there. And then before that, my family and I went to Itasca State Park, and we went to the headwaters of the Mississippi River. I'd never been there before, and I actually had fun doing that, and I actually got to walk across the Mississippi River through the water barefoot. That was amazing. And there was a lot of rocks on the bottom of the riverbed, but it wasn't like hurting me as much. It actually felt really good. And you know what they say about water? Water is like a purifying element. Who am I going to give a reading to? Anybody who wishes to purchase on the PayPal link. So I can do one for you. I can do one for anybody that wants just to click the link above. But it all depends on the circumstances and stuff like that. If stuff plays out where it happens, you know what I mean? But anyways, I was talking about ancient Greece and my affinity with water and stuff like that. I've been seeing a lot more of that lately in my dreams. I've had a dream one time where I was in like the port of Athens, like in the harbor and stuff, and I was actually on a boat, just sitting on the edge of the boat, and then I was talking to someone, and I was like, you know what, you want to bet or something like that? They're like, okay, what are you gonna bet me? And I was like, I bet you I can swim from this boat all the way back to the shore, and nothing bad will happen to me. And they're like, okay, easy free money for me, I guess, because they thought I wasn't gonna be able to do it. And then I jumped in the water, and I ended up winning the bet. And they're like, how the heck did you know how to swim that far? And I was like, I love swimming. I just love being in the water. I feel really connected to everything. Then it's almost like, like if you have like an experience where, I don't know if any of you ever had this or not, but there's sometimes where astronauts, they would say that they feel like they're connected to everything. I don't know if any of astronauts said that or not, but like when they're out in space and they're just like kind of out there, like microgravity and stuff like that, and they feel like they're kind of like in the water. And I mean, even trained in the water for extravehicular activity, that's what the fancy name of saying a spacewalk. And a lot of them just feel kind of like the peacefulness of being in that void and kind of feeling like they're connected to everything that's going around. At least that's what I got from some experiences I had. I mean, when I'm inside the water and I'm under, like below the water, and sometimes I have my goggles on and stuff, I feel like I'm in like the void of space, and I feel like I'm part of everything then. If that makes sense. But the Greek mythology thing, I just really connect with that a lot, because there's a lot of stuff about Greek mythology I really is interesting and stuff like that. I feel like there's a part of that yeah, I love being out in the rain too. Well, thanks. I appreciate that you're wanting to listen to me. But the one story in Greek mythology I really have a fascination with is the story of Atlantis that Plato talks about. I had a past life regression done through quantum hypnosis therapy, and I found out I was actually at Atlantis. I can't remember exactly what I was there for. I think it was something to do with the crystal energy grid with the stargates and stuff like that. Because I have a drawing of that on this notepad, if I can find it. Well, it's kind of a crude drawing, but this is kind of like the crystal grid there in the room. And then this right there is the Stargate. So like all these crystals are kind of in like a hexagonal shaped pattern. And in the center, there's another center pillar crystal, and like all the energy is infusing in that. And then the energy from the center is shooting into the Stargate window, so that whatever wants to come through can come through. Because at Atlantis, they had the ability to do interstellar dimensional travel. Yeah, being in the water is very peaceful. And then Atlantis, there's a lot of technology at Atlantis that is very, let's say, millennia ahead of its time. So like, you're seeing me through like a laptop right now, or like connected to the internet like that. At Atlantis, I do believe that there was like clear plates, kind of like crystal shaped plates or whatever like that, and they're almost just exactly like this, but they didn't need any electricity to power them. Like the energy from the crystal itself and all the other crystals that were connected to this grid were all powering each other. And then there was, what else am I getting? There was very advanced medical technology at that time too. So like you could, if you like were badly injured, someone can use, you could just go to this one person and all you would have to do is just lay on the bed, and then they would just use the crystal that they had around their neck, and then they would move the energy from their hands into your body and use that energy, kind of like in Reiki, to heal the wound, not only physically but spiritually. Because sometimes, like if you have your organs removed, there's still like the energetic signature still in there that your organ was once here. It's almost like when you delete a program off your computer, it still has that residual code that your program was once on this computer. It's just like that, but for the human body in a way. But trying to figure out more about what caused Atlantis' destruction, because from what I know right now, it was a fifth column group that was, I would say it was talking to some other entity besides the ones that everybody else was. Thanks. How do I describe it? So like, this happens all the time during like regime changes and stuff like that. They have a person that's outside of their group or country, and like they're saying, they're kind of giving you like resources and stuff like, hey, if you help me destabilize this country, I will, and re-change their government, I will give you all this resources and stuff like that, and like a possible alliance thing. I mean, the CIA did that a lot of times back then. I mean, they tried overthrowing Castro during the 60s, and that ended up not working out the way they wanted it to work out. So I do believe it was an extraterrestrial entity, and that extraterrestrial entity is still around today. That was like, hey, if you do this for me, I will give you whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you wish to desire, as long as you like destroy this for me. So the I guess the, what am I getting from that? Supposedly that's what caused the fall of humanity instead of the whole biblical thing where it's like the serpent in the garden thing. So that event ended up causing us from being at a higher level we were at to descend to like the third dimensional level of thinking and reality. But there is some descendants of that civilization that are still alive today. So if you subscribe to the Online Psychics Live Facebook page, you'll be able to spin the prize wheel, and whatever you win is good for like a reading on their actual website. Do you have anything like more to explain about that, Kat? Because I know you're very good with that little spiel.
You just hit the prize wheel link, and you win 3 minutes for readings at the website. Easy as that. And you get notifications when our shows will be on.
Okay. So did that make sense now? Oh, and if you're wondering what I'm drinking, this is a tea I made. It's for, I got it out of a book, and it's made with roses, Where did I pick the name? That's actually a really good story. I want to tell you about that. When I was going down this path, and like I heard stories about people picking like a working magical name or like a name they want to use to connect with spirit with, and everybody kept saying like you could either pick whatever you wish to pick or do something with numerology. And like, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of people that have in like the spirituality community, they almost have all the same names, like same last names and stuff like that. So like who is the one that's very popular? I can't remember her name, but she wrote to ride a silver broomstick. I can't remember what her name is. I'll look it up really quick. But I picked my name through numerology, so I used my real name, and then I calculated like what the master number of that name is, and it's like 3, I think. Yeah, it's 3. So then I was like, I wanted to pick a name that's kind of, the first name kind of like matches my first name not numerically, but like the first letter of the name matches. So like, in my opinion, my name sounds too biblical to me because my first name is Matthew and then my middle name is John. So like, you have 2 of the apostles' names in your name. So it's like, I really didn't resonate with my name, but I don't fault my parents for picking that name because for one, the first name they picked from a book, but the middle name I'm supposedly named after my great uncle John, and I don't fault them for that. And then my last name, I have no problem with my last name because it's a very interesting last name because not a whole lot of people up north have it, but more down south have it. It's Mesa, M-E-S-A, like Mesa, Arizona. But let me look up that author really quick. Okay, her name is Silver Ravenwolf, if you never heard of her before. But so anyways, the first name I picked was Morgan because I just love the name Morgan, and then it also ties in with Arthurian legend, Morgan Le Fay or Morgana. I just love that name. It just sounds, there's just something about it that just sounds really powerful when I say it. And then Dragonmoon was a combination of 2 things I absolutely adore, which is dragons and the moon. And I thought, okay, would MorganDragonMoon numerically work for me? And then I did the numerology, and sure enough, it matched my number perfectly. And I was like, okay, this is the name I'm picking because it just feels really powerful name too. And then I also had a reading done from another person, and then they used my real name, and then they also used that name, and then they told me that use your name MorganDragonMoon because it's a lot more powerful than your normal name. It's like numerically is more powerful and more potent than your real name. So then I said, okay, I'm going to use that as my name, but I still call myself Matthew Mesa. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I just, to me, it when you see the name, it kind of has a magical feeling when you get off of it, because like it kind of, the Morgan part definitely feels like part of the Arthurian legend and the Celtic stuff, and then Dragonmoon just sounds really cool last name. So I picked that name, and I've been using that name ever since. But I also have other names I use for different characters. Well, characters I play in real life or in video games and stuff like that. I have a magical user name for a character his name is Kalen Cromwell, like Kalen Skalen, and then Cromwell. I just thought that was a really cool name. And then my fictional Slytherin student that I wear a costume for, his name is Morgan Gray, Grey, and then like his middle name is LaFay, so it's like Morgan LaFay Gray. And then he has a cat named Merlin, like a black cat named Merlin, and I just thought, oh man, way not to go too far with geeking out on the Arthurian legend stuff, right? For numerology, just go to like, I would do a Google search and say numerology calculator, and then go to Google, and then it should pop up something where like you just type in your full name, and then you do the numerology there, and it will tell you your life path number, your other numbers as well. You can also do numerology with your actual date of birth too. So like, I'll do this really quick for mine. So. 11, 12, 30. So like 9 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 0, that's my birth date. And when you add all those numbers together, you get 30. So like, if you wanted to like get to a lower number, you do 3 plus 0, and then that's 3. So that would be my, not sure exactly what that would be in numerology. Let me take the look again. So for birthdays, we get our destiny number or our personal lucky number from that. So you add the 2 or more digits together, and then you reduce it to a single digit. When it's like, when you get 11 or 22, you leave it as it is because it's a master number. And those actually have really interesting meanings too if you look up the number. The sum of the total days, months, and years of one birth is called by different numerologists life path, lesson number, birth path, birth force, or sometimes destiny number. Sometimes shows our different, our mission in life, or like career path, people and experiences that we attract into our life. The life path number is usually stronger after 35 years in one life. So, let's see here. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and then you also have the birth number, birth month number. That's really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you can find out about yourself by either doing numerology or actually doing like past life regression or hypnosis stuff. I'll show off my monitor again. Excuse me. But yeah, definitely check out that flag, and because it reminds me of Star Trek a lot, especially with the symbol in the middle. But then like there's constellations on the outside. I'm still trying to figure out which ones they are, because I have a feeling there's significance about those constellations. Like I'll give you an example. Australia, they have the Southern Cross, I think, on their flag for a constellation, and they also have the star Alpha Centauri on their flag. But the symbolism for that is that it's the southern hemisphere, and those are the constellations and the stars that they always see in the sky, which is that background on behind me. That's the southern hemisphere sky. Accidentally got that one, and I was trying to get the northern hemisphere one, but oh well. Not a big deal, because either way it's still part of the Earth's sky. So, and then you got all the different constellations in the sky, all based off of real mythological stuff. Like you got Draco the dragon. That's supposedly where the Draconian Empire is from. It's from the constellation Draco. You got Orion and the 3 stars in Orion's belt that lines up with the pyramids perfectly. I think at one point it didn't line up with it, but now like they perfectly lined up with it, or they maybe shifted. I'm not really sure, but there's a reason for that. And I think in Alaska they use they use the Big Dipper all the time, which is part of Ursa Major, or is it the Little Dipper? I'm not really sure, but yeah, a lot of really fascinating stuff with symbology and stuff like that. Very notable example of symbology, if I can find it here. It's on the back of the $1 bill. And supposedly if you look really close at some parts of the dollar bill, and some of the corners, you can see a tiny little owl on some of them. But this image on the back is probably the most infamous one, if you can kind of see it. The all-seeing eye pyramid. You can actually look that up yourself about that, because, you know, but what else do I want to talk about tonight? Something about something with the cycles. I'm getting something about cycles, like the cycle of yeah, we just have a bunch of dead presidents' faces on ours. Well, actually, I take that back. There's a couple people that are on some of these bills that are not even presidents at all, like Ben Franklin and Alexander Hamilton. Everybody else is a president, though. Strangely enough, if I'm not mistaken, the first actual U.S.-born president was Martin Van Buren. All the first presidents before him, they were all not even born in the U.S., which is pretty fascinating in my opinion. And if you actually do take in the fact that the United States was born on July 4th, 1776, that means that the United States' astrological sign would be the sign of Cancer. So they would have a water sign as a astrological sign for the sun. This is very interesting. I would love to do like a chart reading to like dive deep into like the chart reading of the United States, like when it was founded, and like see what kind of different symbolism there is of the planetary positions and stuff like that. Because I don't know, it'd just be fascinating to see like what caused this event to happen, what caused this event to happen, because there's a lot of interesting things you could find out in the astrological chart. I mean, the fact that I have quite a few water signs in my chart. Let me take a look again. But how many water signs you have in your astrological chart also means like how psychically sensitive you are, because like it all depends on the planet's position too. So like if you have like a water sign for a moon, that means you're psychic in some certain senses. Yeah, I'll go to my chart here. Oh, that's July 5th, birth report. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, and 4 water signs in my chart. So I got Pluto and Scorpio, which is, I'm part of that generation. And then I got my midheavens in Scorpio. Then Lilith is in Scorpio as well. So I got 3 things in Scorpio. And then Chiron is in Cancer. And last time I checked with Chiron in Cancer means the wounded. Well, Chiron's the wounded healer. So when it's in Cancer, it means something to do with spirituality. So like you're healing the wounded healer through spirituality stuff, which makes sense because of the path I just started taking down and stuff. I don't remember Jupiter and Leo. That's interesting. Did I have Jupiter and Leo? Okay, so I got 2 fire signs in my chart. I got a Venus and Leo, and I guess Jupiter and Leo. Very interesting, and they're both in the 7th house. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in the 7th house. I got the Sun in the 7th house. I got the Mercury in the 7th house, Venus in the 7th house, and Jupiter in the 7th house. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Capricorn signs in my chart: Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the ascendant. My true node's Aquarius, so that means my southern node would be Leo. Again, Leo. Mars is in Gemini. I have an Aquarius moon, which is an air sign, by the way. It's not water. As much as I want it to be water, it's not. It's not water. It's air. But and then I got Sun and Mercury in Virgo. But yeah, my chart seems to be very interesting because there's stuff like on this app trying to look up the significance of certain positions, and it's like there's no actual data yet for that position. So it's like, does that mean I have? Oh, you're a Gemini, cool. With the ascendant, that's kind of like how we appear to the world. So for me, my ascendant is Capricorn. So if you wouldn't know I was a sun sign Virgo, you would think I'm a Capricorn from how I appear. And I think something with Capricorn is that they have they sometimes have long hair. Libra, it's another air sign, if I'm not mistaken. Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius are all air signs. And then Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus are earth signs. Then you got Scorpio, Cancer, and what's the other one? Pisces. That's water. Yeah. Oh well. But there might be a lot of water signs in your chart in different planet sections that could be a possibility why you're drawn to water, or otherwise, like what my friend says, sometimes we are drawn to the element that we are supposed to use a lot too, something like that. Because my friend does stuff with it's like fire elements, and I happen to be drawn to water, even though I'm actually an earth sign, which is kind of funny because you'd think like earth and water would mix or turn into mud. And they made a joke about that in a movie too. So if you have any good recommendations for like books on how to grow different herbs, like how to preserve them, like for harvesting them and growing them, and like what to do when they get to this point in time, because I'm growing herbs at my parents' house, and I'm also doing a garden there, and I've had herbs where I had to prune a lot of herbs today because some of them were starting to flower up, and that I know at certain stages, like if they start flowering up, then they start to seed. And if you're not careful, they can go everywhere and seed everywhere. So I had to like literally cut a lot of these stalks. Yeah, I can give you a reading. You just have to click on the PayPal link above for $19.97. And then once Kat gets the information for the PayPal, then I can give you a reading here. I can either do it live and in studio, or I can do it on the chat, or you can connect with webcam if you want. But if you click on the link above the video and send in the $19.97, I will do a reading for you. But anyways, I was talking about herbs, and I had to prune some herbs because of they were starting to flower up, and then that was also the time where I was also starting to prune the chamomile as well, and I had chamomile tea this morning. It was really good. Never had chamomile tea before, so. But yeah, I don't know why I started gardening lately. I think it's because I felt like I need to be drawn to that, like more working on the land again. Get back to earth kind of thing. Because I've been having issues like with grounding a lot lately. Because you know how it is, like when you're not normally from this planet and you want to leave out of your body and go back home. So like your lower chakras are kind of having issue keeping you in your body. So like sometimes you're like out of your body most of the time, or like you're partially in your body and out of the body. And sometimes if you do that all the time, it's not very good for you because your energy wears down, you feel exhausted more, and your emotions are pretty easy to be manipulated at that time. Oh no, that's not good. Yeah, I really haven't had issues with white butterflies. It's more or less been like flies and other stuff, but I heard that they're the ones that are kind of like helping the plants pollinate, as well as bees. Well, that's okay. I appreciate that though. Um, I don't know why, but I'm really excited about this fall. I feel like a lot of energetic stuff is shifting in the fall. How would I say this? The dark forces that are on this planet are starting to get really weaker and weaker. And it might not seem like it, but humanity's starting to get a lot closer to each other, even though it doesn't look like that right now. It physically it doesn't look like that, but honestly, I feel like subconsciously or consciously, we're starting to get closer together. So like, I'll give an example. Like someone in this city or something could have a dream about this, and then someone like either in the next state or in the next continent could have the exact same dream. So like we're getting more linked to that way. And there's something about a solar event coming up soon. Well, the lunar eclipse is coming up tonight, or did it happen last night? I really don't remember, but that energy from that eclipse is going to be felt for the next 3 or 4 days, I feel. And it's going to feel kind of heavy for some, but not for everybody, I think. But I heard something about a solar flash or solar flare or something is coming to Earth. And supposedly that's going to help with the ascension stuff. Like the solar flash is going to hit the Earth, and I think that's going to start shifting the planet from 3D to 5D. Or maybe that's already started now. I really don't know. But I know for sure that's this year might not seem like it's the year for everything to happen, but it is. So like now they're starting to say, oh no, the Mayans are wrong. It's not supposed to be 2012. It's supposed to be 2021, or like this year it's supposed to end during the solstice. And it's like, okay, are you purposely mistranslating this, or are you trying to make it sound like something really scary is happening? Because I honestly don't think something scary is happening. I honestly think that something really good's coming that is going to be beneficial for all of humanity, all the ones that are very spiritually active right now and starting to develop their gifts. I don't know if you're like me, but do you kind of have the feeling like you don't feel at home on this planet, and like there's something, something deep down is not right about what's going on in the world? Like why do we need money to why does it cost money to live on this planet? You know what I mean? But yet it's like we've been raised to think like this money, it's like an idol to be worshipped, and even though it's just more or less a resource for us to use. So like it's an energetic resource that if we shift our mindset to, it could easily come into us more. But with our limited thoughts that we're programmed with at birth, it's limiting us to get that asset that we need, like for our resources. So like the analogy I keep getting is, it's like turning a dial on the radio to the next frequency. It's as simple as that, but at the same time, not everybody gets that. Like the frequency change is really hard to do unless you've studied a long time and you figured out, oh, okay, this is what I need to do to change my frequency. So, does that kind of make sense? Just kind of trying to, whatever's coming through, and I'm doing very well. Yeah, it's been a long time. But I was on last week too. But yeah, it's just trying to stay grounded is very kind of a little bit more difficult for me. But like when I'm out in nature more, then it's easier for me then, instead of being stuck in a third floor apartment building, you know what I mean? But what am I thinking about now? Well, we got about 10 minutes left. I might as well do if it's okay with Kat, I'm going to do a group card reading if that's all right with her, since we don't have that much time left in the show.
That's okay.
All right. So I'll do a group reading for everybody, see what we get. I'm going to be using the Chinese fortune cards again. I just love this deck. I have other decks too, but I haven't really worked with those a lot yet. But eventually I will. I also plan on doing readings on my own Facebook page and maybe YouTube and stuff. But it's a lot cooler up here now when I get to move to Salem. Eventually I will be. Not sure when though. I'm thinking maybe 5 years from now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm thinking 5 years from now because I'm going to try to find a place in Grand Forks to live at. It's a fixer-upper, but honestly, if I fix it up and increase the value of the property, I can easily sell it for double what it's worth now. It all depends on what Spirit has planned for me, but I have a feeling that when the time comes, I will be going up to Salem. So the first card is Beautiful. That's what it is. It's kind of hard to see. Second card's New Beginnings. And the last card is Wish. So I'm going to take a moment here and rearrange these cards. So Beautiful. I'm getting personal development stuff, like you were paying more attention to you, kind of like what's a good way to describe this? Polishing yourself off, kind of like finishing up the final project kind of thing. Yeah, I love it there. It's a very awesome city. You're doing self-care to yourself, like getting more healthy, trying to shift your energetic patterns and stuff like that. Raising your self-esteem more, kind of better relationship with yourself. The New Beginnings card, I feel like, is, I see a crossroad. There's two different paths in the crossroad, and you've kind of figured out which one you want to go down now. And I feel like that is the path that you're supposed to take. And you already know this, so now you're walking down that path and you feel like, oh gosh, this is awesome. I'm going to have brand new stuff happen to me. Like personal stuff is going to be changing. Like I'm guessing like a new relationship is coming, like either a friendship or maybe a romance or something. I don't know. It could also be something with like a business relationship. Maybe you're developing a business relationship with someone, or your relationship with your guides or source is going to get better. Like you're going to be very close to the spirits now. And then Wish, which is the final card, I feel like is something to do with the object of your goal. Whatever you're manifesting is starting to come into fruition as soon as you get down this path more. So like a good example would be like you're looking for a new place to live and you're trying to sell a house, and then after you sell your house, you find the house that you're looking for, and you just happen to have the amount of money you need to purchase it, and you get the house. Or like whatever job you're looking for, they're finally hiring people, and then they call you back for an interview saying, hey, we'll want to interview you, and then not that long later they call you back saying you got the job, kind of thing. Like it's going to be quick. So like it's something to do with fire. Like the fire energy is going to be really high. So whatever you send out with fire, like whatever wish you sent out with fire, it's going to come back like that fast. And the fire energy is also going to reignite the fire in your soul, the passion in your soul, and give you like laser point focus of what you want to do next. Does that kind of make sense to anybody at all? Because I feel like it does. I feel like whoever got that reading it's perfect for them.
It made sense to me.
You think it's for you?
Yeah, I could relate to that reading.
That's good.
Thank you for your show tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back again soon with Online Psychics Live. And Sierra says it actually does too.
That's good. I'm glad it does.
It's a good group card.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. We will be back soon. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.